Hola, hola everyone. Welcome back to the Resin Lab. Today, I pulled out this new mold that I bought, which is a pair of angel wings and this tray. But I'm not going to use this mold as a tray. I have an idea to make this into like a wall piece to hang. And I might even consider making a stand for it, kind of like I did with the paw on Friday's episode. But I think I'll just leave it as a wall piece. So, um, my idea is to place the wings on top of the square like this. And then I've already got on my computer, I just have to cut it on the Cricut, a decal with a little poem or saying and a cat. Only because on the last episode I used a dog silhouette. So this time I'll use a cat silhouette. And I think it will come out really nice. So let's get started. Okay, I measured the about halfway through the tray and one of the wings, and I'm going to need about 160, 24, about 100 milliliters. So I'm going to mix 140 just to be on the safe side, or 120 just to be on the safe side, to get me through the wings and the the um the tray. Goodness gracious. So you'll notice that I've got wet spots here. That's just the alcohol that I used to measure the tray. And so I poured it into this cup. So this is the cup I'm going to use to measure. But before I do that, I am going to show you how I am going to do this. So I'm going to work face down today, because I like the reveal at the end. And if it needs a top coat because it's not shiny enough, it's easy enough to do a top coat. Um, and this is just a little trick that uh, I use a lot in my pieces, that where I'm working upside down and I need to use a piece of acetate. And I've done it before on a very early episode. And right now all I'm doing is just wiping the acetate with alcohol to get any dust off of it. Um, and so I've done it in an early episode, but if you wait for your resin to gel up too much and you push too hard, then you end up seeing the outline of the acetate. So then it doesn't look as invisible as you would like it to be. Um, so this time I'm going to have my decal ready and transfer it to the acetate before I pour the clear layer of resin. So I'm just getting some transfer tape. And I bought this roll of generic transfer tape. I'll link it in the description box. Remember that everything that I use, or at least something similar to what I used, is linked in the description box. And if it's something similar, I typically let you know, like similar to what I use next to it, just to be transparent. Like a lot of rhinestones, I will link, and clear is pretty, it's pretty straightforward. But if I use a different color, usually they are leftover from Iris's dance costumes. So I will try to remember. I usually try to remember to indicate that they're similar to what I used. So anyhow, this transfer tape is pretty good. It actually picks up the the shiny and glittery Cricut transfer paper, or even like the shiny glittery transfer paper in general. But for that, I like to, for the glitter one and Mainly for the glitter one, I like to use the strong bond, but your piece has to be very cured, or you have to use or at least I recommend you use the acetate. So now I'm going to lay my transfer tape on top of the image, and I'm going to scrape it. When I start laying it, I lay it like with a little piece first, so I avoid as many bubbles as possible. Doesn't always work, but it is worth giving it a try. And I press down and then gently pull the rest of the backing off. And then I just continue to apply pressure to the decal. So for the next part, I'm going to speed it up. You can see that I'm missing a couple of the dots on the eyes for life and mine, and I'll fix those once I transfer them to the acetate. So now that I have my decal onto my transfer tape, I'm going to place it on top of the acetate. Before I place it on the acetate though, I want to make sure that I place it on the side that's going to kind of grip into the resin. So if you have acetate that you take from a roll, I suggest taking a piece of parchment paper and maybe ironing it on a low setting, um, so that it's nice and straight, which I already did for mine before recording. So then you want to place your decal onto the acetate starting at an angle and then pressing down to transfer it. You can see that I kind of missed the angle a little bit, so I'll probably end up getting a little bit of bubbles under the cat, which is fine because you can pop those with a tool afterwards, and the resin will kind of camouflage them a little bit as long as you pop them. So then you want to peel back your transfer tape. Um, Once you've got it onto the acetate, it's pretty gripped, but you just want to peel it back slowly to make sure that you're not lifting any letters. And now that I have that lifted up, I mentioned earlier that I was missing the dots on the eye for life and mine. So I'm going to take my dotting tool. Oh, here is where I'm showing you that, you know, you could poke holes in the bubbles of the decal to get rid of them. And I'm just using a pointy tool from my Cricut set. You can use anything that's pointy. You can even take an X-Acto knife and slice it a little bit. And then I'm just kind of smoothing it over. And then I'm fixing the apostrophe on the owl, the aisle. See how it's really small. So now, yeah, here's where I'm pointing out the eyes on the life and mine. So I'm grabbing a dotting tool with some 18 karat gold paint, and I'm just going to paint it on the acetate, or not paint it, stamp it onto the acetate. And it actually looks very close to the gold vinyl, and you can't even tell. So that's a little trick that you can do if you're missing dots on eyes or apostrophes. It's the Krylon 18 karat gold marker. So I think I tried it first with the pointy needle tool. I don't know what that's called. I don't know the proper name for it. I guess maybe a scribe, but a scribe is not as pointy. So I just call it a needle tool. And then here's where I'm using my dotting tool. Have you guys guessed that my microphone went out? That's why I'm doing voiceover right now. Yeah, good times. So there we go. I'm showing you that the dot on the eye looks just fine. So a dotting tool was a much better thing to use. So there I've got my little dot stamped for life. And then I'm just checking to see if there's anything else out of place that needs to get fixed before we start mixing the resin. I think I'm cleaning off my tools. Okay, so now I'm going to cut around the decal, and that's just to minimize the clear empty space behind it. Normally what I would do is do an offset in my Cricut studio and cut the shape of whatever I'm doing into the acetate. But this time I just didn't feel like doing that. I just did the design. To be honest, I forgot about it until I started to cut it out. But you can do that as well. I can show you guys on another video how to do that. What I should have done today was show you the process of picking out the design, and I just didn't think about that. But here I'm showing you the finished product. Well, not finished product, but the finished piece to go into the resin. So it's ready to go. And then I'm just double checking that the dots on the eyes look good. I think I might have to redo them. I can't recall. Yes, I think I end up having to redo them. So I'm going to go ahead and redo them. Yeah, I ended up redoing the eyes just to make sure that that they're nice and vibrant and match the rest of the vinyl. So that's why I did that. And I'm just cleaning off my tools and then putting that aside now so that I can start mixing the resin. So here I'm just rearranging things. Oh, and here's where I'm talking about the colors that I chose. So I pulled out the Eyecandy 14 karat nugget gold and the shide for the white. And the 14 karat nugget gold is kind of like a crushed crystal, but in gold, which is what I was mentioning here. So I'm also going to put a discount code on the screen for you for Eyecandy. And at first I was going to brush the 14 karat nugget gold onto the mold. And I didn't quite like how that turned out. So I tried to take it off the rest of the mold. And I had some residue left over because it's just such a fine powder. So yeah, so you'll see that here. I'm just cleaning off a brush, um, checking to see that there's no color on it. Putting some alcohol and just cleaning off the wings one last time. I think I ended up getting a different brush. So you can see this goes everywhere if you're not careful. So see how once the powder touches the mold, it kind of stays in one place, so it's not spreading like the mica powder would. So I didn't quite like that effect because I wanted it to be kind of spread out. So I'm going to skip to that part. So here's where I am taking my alcohol and cleaning off the excess amount of the powder, just because I just didn't, it really wasn't doing the effect that I wanted it to do. And I wasn't very successful in getting it all off. So at this point, I'm just hoping that the resin, because what I end up doing, or what I'm going to end up doing, is mixing it in the resin instead. And so at this point, I'm just hoping that it doesn't look like too concentrated in that area because of the spots that stayed on the mold. And I'm hoping that it doesn't look too uneven compared to the next one. So now I'm trying to take off the excess with some tape, and that worked a little bit better. But I'm still a little concerned at this point about how it's going to look once it's all done. So, but yeah, here's where I'm comparing and just saying, we'll see how it turns out. So at this point, I put that aside and I let you know that I'm going to go mix some resin. So I will be right back, and hopefully with sound from the actual video clipping rather than my voiceover. So I'll see you soon. And come to find out that this clip also didn't have any sound as I was recording. So here I am again with my voiceover. So I mixed at this point about 120 milliliters of resin, and I've got the 14 karat gold nugget into the cup, and of course I'm dissolving it like usual just to make sure that it doesn't get too, so the usual deal. I'm surprised that I actually remembered to do that beforehand, so I'm very proud of myself. And excuse my sniffling, it is allergy season, and yeah, it's been pretty pollen is everywhere. So those of you with allergies probably understand how all of that feels. So here I'm pouring the resin into my cup. I think I did about 40 milliliters for the wings because I had estimated 20. So we're doing the usual mixing into the cup. Scraping the sides as usual. I think I talked about, I don't remember what I was talking about. That's why I get so upset when I lose my sound on these videos because I try to keep it as natural as possible. I feel like doing the voiceover afterwards, I'm just very scripted um, versus being a little more natural on, you know, on the actual recording. One of these days, I will figure out when to know that my microphone is out while I'm recording instead of when I'm starting to edit the video. So here I'm just checking my stick to see how much gold I have. And I think I'm satisfied with that amount because I didn't want it to be too strong. I wanted it to be a little subtle. And no, I'm adding a little more to the resin. And oof, look at that fly everywhere. Oh, I'm also talking about how I want to create samples of colors, and so I'm gonna pour a couple of teddy bears too, those little mini teddy bears, and so I can have like a sample set of what my colors look like in the resin versus what they look like, just as powder. That's a good idea to have. So if you haven't done that, definitely try doing that or consider doing that because it'll really help um, when you're choosing your colors, or if you're selling to customers, it'll help them choose the colors that they like. All right, so I think I've got that all mixed. The rest of it I'm going to do in clear because I'm going to do the first layer of the square. I'm going to call it a tray because technically it is a tray, but I'm not using it as a tray for this project. Oh, I decided to add some Elmer's glue to the resin with the 14 karat gold so it doesn't sink to the bottom as well. And y'all know me, I'm not a fan of working with Elmer's glue in my resin just because of the consistency getting so goopy. But again, I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to risk that color sinking to the bottom, especially with what I had brushed on one of those wings. Um, so I just wanted to make sure that it stayed nice and floaty. Yeah, look at all that goopiness. All right, so now I'm cleaning off my tools and I'm going to be transferring the clear into the cup soon. Yep, so now I'm mixing, or not mixing, I'm just transferring my clear into the cup so I can make sure I get that nice and stirred and mixed properly. I don't always do that. I don't know if you all have noticed, but for clear, I especially like to do that. I forget, to be honest with you, especially since I was mixing in a silicone cup. The silicone cup will work in the vacuum chamber for those of you who are new. It'll work in the vacuum chamber, it just takes a little bit longer. But I recommend using a paper cup or a plastic cup for your clear resin because it will take out the bubbles a lot better from that. So I'm just giving it another stir, scraping my sides as usual. And then I think it's ready to go into the vacuum chamber. So I will see you all in a moment, and hopefully with video sound this time. Y'all, this was a horrible day. I can't believe I recorded so many clips without sound, but here I am again with my voiceover. So I'm back with the resin that is vacuum chambered and debubbled, and I'm just pointing out that that little bit of resin that's on the square is from my mixing tool. When I have clear on it and I'm going to pour clear, I just lay it on my mold to drip. When I don't have clear, then I usually put it on a mat to let it drain. And I'm just cleaning off the mold one last time before I pour the clear to make sure there's no debris in there. I might have saw some debris or something in there. So I'm sure I saw something in there that made me want to clean it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour the clear first. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by spraying my mold with some alcohol as usual and pouring that clear. I think at some point I do realize that I don't quite have enough. So I use my stick to spread it around the mold. Not that I don't have enough, it's just that it didn't cover the whole bottom of the mold the way I wanted it to, which is fine, because it's just the first layer. So here I am scraping my cup. And now I'm spreading it out, getting those bubbles out. And you can see that it really wasn't that much that was missing. It was just a little piece. So once I get that all spread and scraped out, then I'm ready to pour the wings. So I'm just cleaning off my tools or cleaning my spatula, spraying alcohol on the square. And once I'm done cleaning my tools, then I'm going to grab the gold. What am I doing now? I think I'm checking for bubbles at this point. I wish I could remember what I said. I got a few of the gold flakes in there, but are specks, but I think it should be fine. So I'm gonna change up my microphone because I think this microphone has died a couple times already. There we go. Hopefully this doesn't die on me. If not, you'll hear my voiceover in the previous clips. Okay. So let's pour the wings. I need to get myself a better spray bottle. Okay, that looks pretty. Very pretty. And wow, I'm not going to have enough. That's okay because I can back it in white or in the shade color. I should have mixed a little more. That does look pretty though. It doesn't look overpowering, but it looks nice and bold. Let me just push this to the side here. Maybe that was enough. No, I don't see it up. It's not domed. It's not domed. So I will back it with either clear or white. We'll see how it looks like with white under. I've got a little bubble in there I need to get out. That's perfect. See if I can scrape a little bit more. There we go. All right. All right, I'm going to go around with my dotting tool now. And just make sure I don't have any bubbles on those angel wing peaks. That looks so pretty. Okay. Yeah, I think I will back it in the shade because I'm going to put it, remember, I'm going to attach this to the front. So in worst case, I can demold and see how it looks. And then we can always put Elmer's glue and back it that way. I'm just trying to get a look from overhead. Gonna swirl this here. This one looks a little stronger than this one, but that's okay. That's okay. It is what it is. Okay. Now we are ready to put the decal. And I'm just looking from the side to see if any Debris is there, and I do see some debris, but I don't want to use those tweezers. Just grabbing that. Taking another look from the side. Oh, and I've got a couple bubbles, so let me pop those. And I guess these aren't really bubbles, they're trapped air pockets. If they were bubbles, they would have already risen to the surface. Come on. Okay. That looks good. All right. And now I'm going to place the decal towards the bottom here because remember I'm going to put the wings up there. So I'm going to start at an angle and just kind of let the resin attach to the acetate, if you will. Kind of like putting a phone screen protector on. Doing it at an angle and just kind of waiting for it to adhere to your phone screen. And one mistake that I made before was pushing down too hard. So you don't want to push down too hard. You want to be gentle. And that looks perfect. I just see a couple bubbles that I'm pushing out there gently. And I'm going to grab my dotting tool again and just whisk that little bubble out. And okay. Spray around the decal. And I'm going to let these sit. Now, you don't want to place this on the heat mat because it will cause your acetate to curl and it could cause bubbles and it could be a really big mess. Now, I was interrupted right when I started to say that. And so I paused and I took a look at this, and you see how this is not covering the back of the acetate. That's not good. So I mixed another, I think 40 or 50 milliliters. I want to say, I think 40. And I'm going to pour the rest on the back of that because you don't want to press it because it will, to submerge it, because it will protrude from the front and it just won't look right when you back coat it. Trust me, I've already had that experience. So I'm just going to pour some more just to cover up the back, and you can see how it's kind of like camouflaging now. And so that's what you're going for. You want it to camouflage. So you want it to be completely submerged without having to push it down. And then that way it will look much better when you back coat it. So that's much better. And so I'm glad I was interrupted because I probably wouldn't have paid much attention to that had I not been talking on the phone and like just staring at it for a second. So I realized too that you couldn't see because I had the mold down here, but when I started placing the acetate down, I just started with it facing up and then just laid it down. I just want to clarify that too, in case you were wondering. So now I'm just going to let this sit. And I will be back in the morning to do the back coat for this and probably a light back coat for these as well. So see you in a little while. Okay, all. It's the next morning and I can see that this has lifted up a little bit, which is fine because we can still fix it. If I was to pour the colored resin on top of that, you would definitely see that there's like an insert in there, and that's what I don't want because I want it to look flawless and inconspicuous. So I mixed another 60 milliliters of resin and vacuum chambered it. So I'm going to pour that over, and this is going to be a really, really, really short segment because you're just watching me pour the clear resin. And so I'm going to focus on this area here. You see how now it doesn't, it's camouflaged. And that's the look that you're going for. You don't want that color to show your acetate. Let me go ahead and scrape this out. And I didn't want to pour too much because I still need room for the shied color. So I'm going to have to spread this carefully. And it's still kind of, the resin is still kind of tacky, even though it's been about 10 hours since I poured. And that's just because my room, the temperature went down last night and my room went down to like 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So the resin is curing, but it's just curing slowly. So keep the temperature in mind too when you're working with something like this. So I'm just going to spread it out because again, I don't want to overfill it. But you see now you can't see that line that was there before, which is good. And I'm just bringing that over to the sides. Let me flip it around. So it looks like it's gonna barely cover, but again, that's fine. This is the area that I was concerned with. As long as we blend the rest of the resin and drag it out, it should be fine. I'm so glad. See, and this is one of the reasons you don't want to put a piece like this on a heat mat. Now, another way you can do this is pour the first layer of clear and let that cure, and then do the acetate, because then you can push down the clear flat onto the cured surface. But I didn't want to wait. And I still ended up having to do another layer. So it's fine. Okay. So that's good. So I'm going to let this sit for a couple hours. Probably since the acetate is already cured in the bottom part of the resin, I'm going to let it sit for about an hour and then put it on the heat mat. And then I'll be back to do the back layer of this and we'll see what we'll do with the wings. Okay, I am back and I mixed another 120 milliliters of resin. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this shied color into it. It's a really pretty, like pearly white. Whoops, I am dropping everything. Okay. We're going to take a scoop of that. Seal that up. Dissolve with some alcohol. Add a little bit more alcohol. And I haven't decided if I'm going to back coat the wings or not. I mean, in clear or in the shied color. I think I'm going to see how it pours on this piece here. And then we'll go from there. So let me get my stick out and just mix that up. My apologies for sniffling. It is allergy season. So, ooh, that is a pretty, pretty white. Okay, so I'm gonna do 100 to start. That's about 90. Yep, that should be good. I'm trying to think if I want to back coat this. And I think I will so that the clear doesn't show through. I'm going to back coat those in white, in the same color as well. So that means I'm going to put a little bit more in here. And I want to make a little tiny teddy bear with some of the 14 karat nugget gold to have as a sample. So I'm going to leave that little bit of clear available to scrape. And that looks good. Trying to see if I want to put more mica powder in there, but I think that looks good. Well, yeah, that looks good. All right. So now let me put that aside. Grab a paper towel so I can wipe off my stir stick. And let's see. I can probably get So I am going to pour one little teddy bear in the shine, actually two little teddy bears in the shide. So actually, let me do this. Let me scrape them into some smaller cups. Let me make this. There we go. That's probably a little bit better. There we go. Can y'all see? Yes. Okay. So we'll put a little bit in here. And I'm making these little teddy bears to have, like I said, as my sample. So it's that way, it's good to have them so you can see what the colors will look like in the resin. All right. Oh no, I spilled some resin here. Get that up. Let me just clean that up really quickly. All right. Okay, so let's get the rest of this poured. I'm so excited to see how this piece is going to turn out, everyone. It's something that I just kind of, wanted to do something different. Or at least, use the mold, but not necessarily for its purpose. Like the purpose of the mold is to have a tray. But I didn't want to do a tray. I mean, a tray would be nice if I had a photo of a pet. But I already have a few samples of, well, we lost a pet a couple years ago, or a few years ago actually, and my kids wanted a memorial for her. So I made them each a memorial, and then I made one for myself. So sometimes I take those with me, but other times I don't. I feel like it just makes people sad. So oh, sticky, 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 sticky. Let me change my gloves. I don't like sticky gloves. I figure something like this, it still might spark a little bit of sadness, but not so much because it's generic. At least that's my hope. We'll see what kind of reactions I get at the market. Okay. Oh, this is all full of resin. All right. So now I'm going to go and pop this in the vacuum chamber while I add the color to these two. That way, this is degassing. All right. Let me get my tiny little spoon here. And whew, we'll do the 14 karat nugget gold. And mix that up. I can probably get two little teddy bears out of this. So that's good. There we go. So I'll let that degas for a moment. Wipe this off. Wipe off my gloves. Okay. I will take a little bit of this. And let me use a clean spoon. There we go. Put a little bit of alcohol in that. And that looks nice. Nice and pretty. Okay. So I've been trying to think about how to display my colors, and my sister gave me a really nice idea. My sister's a good resource. If she's watching, she's probably smirking as I say that. So we pick each other's brain from time to time and bounce off each other. And that's the highlight of our day, is sharing what we made the night before or the few days before. So that's nice. I'll set that aside and let that degas. So in any case, she was saying I could add like little rings to the teddy bears and put them on, or holes to the teddy bears and put them on like a key ring or something. I thought that was a fantastic idea. So if you have multiple colors that you want to, I'm going to put like a smidge amount of glue in. If I could do a smidge, there we go. Just so that this doesn't sink. Let's see if that makes a difference. Oh yeah. Yeah, got nice and goopy. Okay. So there's that. So I'm gonna let those two degas. I just cleaned this stick and then I got it dirty again. Good gracious. Good grief. Okay. Let me put these aside and bring this forward. And get that spritzed. Now let's pour this. Very nice. That looks amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay. Go ahead and spritz that. I love when it does that, when the alcohol hits it. I just love it. Okay. So we'll move that. Let's bring the wing down. And this was about, let's see, I mixed 120 and then I had about 30 left. That's about 10. That's about So this is about 100 milliliters. Just want to make sure I write that down. I'm thinking out loud, everyone. Not that you can talk back to me. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Let's pour these teddy bears, because then I can scrape out what I don't need. And that's a little bit of an over pour. I can probably get 2 more teddy bears out of this. Or I mean 2 teddy bears total with what was over poured on that one. If I can get it out. Let's see. Let's transfer some over here. There we go. It'll need a little bit of trimming, but that's not a big deal. Okay, now let's pour one of these. And one of those. And oh, that looks a little over poured. Yeah, these things take almost nothing in resin. When I give these away, I give them away in bundles of 4 or 5. So that way it's not just a teeny tiny little thing. Okay, so that's those. So let me put that over there. Put that over here. Let's work on the wings. So let's pour here. All right, and let's get the rest out of this cup. And I think we can spread this throughout the piece. I was a little stingy with my resin today, everyone. Oh no, this is not going to be enough. I'm going to have to mix a few more milliliters. Yeah, maybe another 20 or so. Just because this is not going to look good. Yeah, no, this is not going to match. So I'm going to mix another 20 milliliters and then I'll be right back. Okay, I've got another 30 milliliters mixed up, so hopefully this is enough. If not, then we've got bigger problems. Let me go ahead and spread that. And just spreading it here into the wings. All right. That looks much better. Pour a little bit more in here. And spread that to the edge. All right. And do just a little bit more. Spritz. And then we'll pour the rest in here. So that was 150 total. Okay. All right. So I'm going to let this sit for about maybe 45 minutes or so. And then I'll place it on the heat mat. So I will see you all at demold. It's time to demold. Let's start with the little teddy bears. They came out perfect. No bubbles that I can see. And these are going to be my color samples. So very good. So those came out nice. Let's do the wings. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm just looking at an angle. Got a teeny tiny bit of trimming to do. But that looks really pretty. And I don't see any bubbles, which is great. And I can highlight these indentations with some gold paint. So that looks good. Let's see the other one. This one also looks good. No bubbles. Teeny tiny bit of trimming to do. That looks great. Okay, So now for the big reveal. Let's see how this turned out. That looks beautiful. That looks beautiful. We've got a couple little bubbles here, but all in all, it looks beautiful. So my plan is to glue these down right about there. Yeah, that's gonna look so pretty. So pretty. Okay. And I think I might line the edge here with some stones. And yeah. Yeah, I think I just might line the edge with some stones, glue the wings on, and add the little hanger on the back, and it'll be all done. So I'll be back in a moment to finish this up. Hi everyone, I am finished with this piece. It's pretty obvious what I did. I painted the wings in the little indentations gold. I think it really brings out the wings. There was a small clip where I compared them together and it was just apples and oranges. It looks fantastic. So I added some rhinestones here on the side just to kind of give it a little more life. And then I put a hanger on the back. I only have silver hardware, so I realize that it doesn't match, but it's just where the hanger is going to be, or where the screws, it's just where the customer will hang it from. So anyhow, that wraps up today. So just want to do a quick reminder to sign up for the giveaway. You have till Wednesday, March 25th at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll put a picture of the giveaway, which is the Changtiji box of 36 mica powders. It's brand new, still wrapped in plastic. I haven't opened it. I had an extra box and I figured I'd give it away to someone. So to celebrate my 50th episode. Winner will be announced on episode number 50, which is going to air on April 3rd at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So don't forget. Sign up link to the giveaway is in my description box. I think that wraps everything up. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it. And I will see you all on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Bye.